Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Reese and today we are back in my Pleasant canvas, which is a canvas to Pleasant Sims that I've made myself. So it's a custom canvas and I'm trying to make a canvas that's modern and personalized and has a much larger capacity than some of the other in-game canvases. So first, a small disclaimer. So I have a small cat. He's very, very cute, but at the time he's also very noisy. So just right now I can tell that he found a piece of paper that he's tearing apart just beneath my table here. So if you hear any weird sounds, it's him. But anyway, back to my build. So I'm trying to have a custom-made canvas to Pleasant View. And I have this idea that if I have the same style, like the same building style, I want these white and windowed light buildings. So this is the style I'm going for. And as you can see here, I've just tried to build some rooms to see how that will fit. And I have these concrete stairs and these large industrial window doors because that's the style I'm going for. So as you might have seen in some of my other campus builds, I really aim for these very, very small dorm rooms where there's just room for a bed and barely anything else. So I try to make it nice and welcoming either way. So for example, I have a bed and then I have maybe a bedside table, a lamp and stuff, and maybe also just a chair and some art. So I do this to have as many Simmers living in a dorm as possible. So I've done a mega dorm and my game crashed, to be honest, when I played it. So I'm quite excited to see how this goes, let's be honest. So I'm trying to maximize what I'm able to do on fairly small spaces. So for example, bathrooms like this are supposed to be only 2 squares because that's the smallest necessary to have a toilet and a shower, and then I'll have some common sinks. So I really, really hate these, how do you say that? These cubicles in the bathrooms. I think it's just annoying. And when a lot of Simmers gather in cubicled bathrooms, it's just, they seem to get stuck in each other and it's never really a good solution. So I aim to go for these very, very small single toilets and bathrooms because the Simmers never really seem to get stuck in each other when I do it like that. So that's my plan. But anyway, this is supposed to be a tower. So I have already inserted the cheat where you can extend the building heights from the normal 3 stories. So this, I haven't really planned yet how far up it's supposed to go. Probably not too far because I don't have the patience for that, and I'm pretty sure that my game will crash if I try to make it too high. So probably maybe 4 or 5 floors, just so it's a tower and not just a large building, but not enough for it to be just too crazy. But anyway, it's a dorm and I need all the things that a dorm will need. So we need a kitchen with these very special desktops, because if you have these desktops and if you have the industrial stove and a sprinkler, then the chef will come and prepare meals for the students. So I really like to do that so my Simmers don't have to cook for themselves. So obviously I'll need a rather large kitchen and I'll need quite a few of these desktops because when I have a lot of Simmers living here, hopefully I will have, they just need to have plenty of food coming, keep coming. So so they won't starve. It's too annoying if there's only 2 or 3 desktops because they will only be served 2 meals at a time. And even though the chef is busy and he's he or her is probably doing his or hers best, but let's just make it easier and then have them serve on at least 4 or 5 like this tables. So anyway, I also need to have like it's not a common room, but like an dining room, and I always use the large tables with chairs because again it can fit a lot of people, and I also like not to have a common room as such. So here it's where the simmers are going to eat, obviously, but also do their assignments, do their reading most of the time, and maybe also like chat and so. So anyway, it's going to be one more or less large room here downstairs, and I aim for these very, very large windows because I think it gives the place a modern look, and it's also just light, and it's not easy because I can't really decorate the walls, so in that case it's easy, but I think it looks good, and it's the same style as my other builds in this canvas. So it's part of the aesthetic that I've planned. But anyway, so as you can see now, I have begun decorating the rooms, and remember lamps. I always seem to forget the lamps, so better just do that now. And I have different bed sheets for all of the beds, also to have it, also to give it like a personal and customized look, and for the very small rooms to still feel personal. And I just put lots of decorations on the wall to give it a cozy atmosphere and to make it look lived in, because even though it's quite industrial and it's very large, I think if you just put lots of decorations in, it's still going to be nice. But let's see. And we also just have to do a bit on the outside. Let me just do the upstairs. I've sped this bit up because I guess it's not very interesting to look at, and I'm just building, again, very small rooms here, and I'm going to make room for a toilet as well, so the simmers don't have to walk too many stairs to have their basic needs accustomed. But let's just slow this down again. Now I'm in the buildings phase. Let's just put in the doors. And I need the floors to be the same as well. I really like the colors and the floors of this place to be the same. So I've done the very easy thing to just have white walls because I quite like the light. Not the light of it, I was about to say, but I quite like that it's, minimalistic and white and easy, and I don't have to think too much about color coordination when I just have the white walls. And the floors should be the same again, because there is a color scheme here with the blue carpet and the wooden floors. And again, bedding. So some of you might ask why I would like to do mega dorms like this, and to be honest, it's because I'm quite impatient, and when I play The Sims, I always play with maximum characters, so there's always 8 simmers living in my households, and I just really like to have the game very sped up and to get things done. I know it sounds stupid because I play to relax, obviously. But I just like to have multiple stories going on at once. And it's just easier when you have, the maximum number of sims to take care of, because you can keep doing stuff. So when one person or sim is sleeping, I can still act with some of the others. So there's never a dull moment when you have 8 simmers living in one household. But that also, that also means that I'm not really that much into the architecture of the houses. Obviously, I do like to build, and I do also like to have a certain aesthetic in my build, or to have, I like to build pretty, yes. But again, I don't like to build with large rooms and lots of furniture and stuff. I do like to keep it to some degree minimalistic. And that is because I like to have a lot of simmers. They acquire space. And I quite often need to have quite a lot of stuff, stuff together under one roof. So I try to make small, nice corners like this one with the couches where simmers can hang out and there is just like a cozy atmosphere, only taking up very small space. But to me, that's nice. Yeah, sorry, I just lost focus there for a second. And we also need to have computers because the simmers are going to do their assignments. And I always do, when I play with canvases, I always do the same thing. So I start the semester off by looking at the simmers, how to say that their career choices, their like dream career. Let's just build the upstairs here again. And when I have their dream career, I always choose a subject after that, so they are actually, able to follow their dreams. And then I pick the subject and then have them make their assignment. Because when they have the assignment, they just really need to go to classes and acquire the skills that they need, and they'll more or less just pass their tests at themselves. So it's an easy way to do it like that. And then I have plenty of time for my sim to follow a plot line or to find love or to, do something. So they need to have plenty of computers and plenty of, skill gaining things so that I can put all of my simmers at once to do that. Like I need more than one place to have them get logic skills because I have 8 simmers that would probably need that skill at the same time. So I need to make it easy for myself. So one problem with the very, very small bathrooms, as you can also see here, is that I need to have space for sinks. And that's not possible when you only use 2 squares like I do here. So I'll have to put the sinks in the whole main area here. That's probably not the prettiest thing, and I guess that some of you out there will think that it's just hideous, that I should have done maybe another room, 2-tiled room with only sinks in there. But I think like this, I haven't really lived in a dorm myself, not in this American way either way, but in schools, for example, at least in my classrooms during when I grew up, there was always a sink in the classroom for some reason. So I think it's quite realistic in that way anyway. So again, I try to keep the aesthetic very young. So lots of comics, art decorations and sports things. I also use these signs, like street signs, a lot because I think it's quite young. At least when I was young, it was there was a few years where it was an aesthetic to have a street sign hanging in your room. Actually, I don't really know how people acquired them because I guess you could buy them maybe, or you could buy replicas, but I don't know, maybe some of those street signs were stolen actually. Let's not think too much about that. But anyway, so as you can see, I've just started building another floor, and we need to have multiple bathrooms up here as well because I only had 2 toilets downstairs, and that's probably a bit tight with that many rooms here. So we're going to have lots of simmers and they're going to need lots of bathrooms. But let's just do the same thing over and over again. So we have beds with different beddings here. Let's just move the doors so everything fits. And I know I said that I'm impatient, and I know that this seems, at least to me, making different bedding is just very, very tiring. But it looks better in the end, so I'm just going through with it. So let's just get tables up here as well. And computers. Maybe some on the other side as well. Let's see how much I can fit in here. I guess I can fit at least these 4 computers and then do some decorations here on the back. They need phones. Yeah, it's going to be fine. One thing I also do in my gameplay, and that's also where I have actually always made these very, very large dorms, is that I make sure in my large neighborhoods to have every teen go through college. So all of them get an education. And when I do that, I like to get most of the teens from the neighborhood and have them go through college, not as fast as possible, but almost. So I don't take only Angela and Lilith Pleasant to college. I take Angela and Lilith and Dustin and what's a dreamer boy called, I'll just take all of the teens in the area at the same time, and I'll fill up the blank spaces with some of the teenage townies, because it's just easier for me to do it like that, because I'm too impatient not to have a lot of simmers. Okay, so the windows here is annoying me a bit, I'll have to admit. I've just sped up this part as well, because it's not very harmonic how it's placed. But I think it's the best way to do it. It looks nicest when you only have the view of that floor. So I'm going to have to live with that. And on the front, going out to the street is also completely clean and symmetrical. So I'm going to have to live with the back, and you viewers unfortunately have to live with that too. So let's just fix the lamps on the spot, because I'll forget it if I don't place the lamps where I can just now. And we are going with the beds again. So yes, I completely understand if you are a bit tired, and my head at least is, I don't know how to say it. It's not like I'm confused, but I'm just getting tired of looking at my work, because it's going quite fast, and I just have to, get through with the beddings and the decorations now here. But as I said, I really like to have my Sims going through college. And when I do that, they always end up getting best friends with each other's. And I also end up pairing a lot of them. So when they are graduated, they can just go straight back to the neighborhood, and I'll be able to, usually I put them in a house, or I build a large house to them. And while they have lots of friends, because they usually get a lot of friends with with each other for one thing, but they usually have family friends as well from their previous households. And most likely when I put them in large dorms like this, they'll always get a lot of friends that are just the other townies from the dorm rooms. So having mega dorms like this makes it much, much easier to advance the Simmers' careers afterwards. So I keep starting sentences and not finishing them, so sorry about that. But what I was going to say is that I normally, after the Simmers have graduated, put them in a large house or something, or I put them on an empty lot and then build a house for them, and then have them get their dream career. So usually they will have their life goal fulfilled before I go any further with their lives as such. And then when they have that, usually I have them paired up to some point at that point, or I'll just find a partner for the Simmers, and then I'll have them move out slowly but surely, and then have them create their own lives and build own houses and have everything, cleared. Because I think it's very, very, let's just see, this is not going to be a flaw with dorm rooms as well. It's just going to be like a common room floor. Hello, Simmers. So I just had some technical issues, so there might be like a sudden drop off. Okay, that was a cat again. There might be like a sudden drop of sound, and then I'll come back. So let's hope that I can like find the right spot where my camera just suddenly stopped working. So as you can see now, I've finally reached the rooftop, and I've put this tarmac thing or like cement or stuff. The cat is just doing parkour on my desk, so it's a bit crazy, but yeah, sorry about that. If you have pets, you know, I guess. But I've just done this cement or like, I don't know how to say it actually in English, but it's like small tiles of some like, yeah, plasticky thing. I think it makes sense to have it on a roof because it's not concrete and it's not tiles as such, but it's like a surface thing. Up here, let's have a barbecue area, as you can see, and I think because I have so much space that the tents could be a funny idea. Again, it adds sleeping spaces for my Sims, and to be honest, it also is a place where they can do woohoos, which can be nice to have in the gameplay, especially when there are only single beds in the dorms. So I had that in mind as well, which is good for them. But let's just finish off with the outer parts. So we have a grill area and some telescopes for them to do logic. And yeah, that's more or less it. So we have to change the lot type, and you have to put in this code and then save the game and go in and out of the campus and the lot. And if it doesn't work, do it a few times and then you'll probably figure it out. But thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed this build, and stay tuned for another video where I'll actually play this lot and see how my computer does it. Thank you so much. Bye.